I am almost 30 years old. I'll be 30 in January. And I live with my parents. Why, you may ask? Or how did I get to this point? Let me explain. So, let me start about a year, 2 years ago. I don't know. I hit my head too many times in my life. I don't even know who I am. Where am I? I'm in the middle of the woods. How'd I get here? No. I started getting behind 2 years ago. I was living on my own. I mean, before then, I started getting ahead because I had a roommate, and we were both working, and I was saving money. I was street performing and getting to see my son every other weekend. And I still get to see my son every other weekend, but just to paint a picture, I was in a pretty good place a couple of years ago. I was in a band, but what happened was everyone around me drank a lot, just about, and I've never been much of a drinker, and I should take responsibility. It was my choice to start drinking more. I started drinking more, which eventually, after spending a lot of time with one of the band members who drank a lot, like he would drink every morning basically, and I got a DUI because I was at his house. I was blackout drunk, but apparently what happened was I was at his house late at night, and we ran out of beers, so I was like, I'll go get beers in my blackout drunk state, and I drove to go get beers, and I didn't return. I crashed my car. Thankfully, nobody got hurt except my car and my pride, but that's good. It's good that that happened because someone could have died, so... or I could have died, and then my son wouldn't have a dad. But yeah, so since then, things started to really go downhill. It was about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And then after that, I was still working hard. I was still working at my day job, and it was just harder to get there without transportation. And then still working at the band, still working on music every single day. That's one thing that I'm pretty proud of, that I did consistently every single day, even in the hardest moments of my life. I always worked on music, and I always tried my very best to have a day job, unless my music was paying the bills, which it did sometimes. People don't like hearing that. The band member that I used to drink a lot with would tell me street performing is not a day job, but I'm pretty sure that's because he was envious that I was out there street performing and making money and he wasn't. Because it is a day job. If you work at it all day and you make more money than your day job, it's called employment, okay? Although I didn't do it for long enough to actually pay taxes on it and all that jazz. But anyway, getting off the topic here. So then eventually things went downhill, and there was this moment where I talk about it in one of my past videos, my near-death experience, or I think it's the 4 times I almost died video on my channel. And basically I got ran over by that bandmate who had a drinking problem and was narcissistic and just kind of an asshole. I was being an asshole to him at that point. I mean, I was blackout drunk, and you know, I was being aggressive to him because finally I was letting out all my resentment I had towards the guy, because he'd been an asshole to me, and so freaking self-centered, narcissistic, and egotistical drunk the entire time I was in band with him. I never got to actually express myself, both like creatively but also my authentic emotion, without hearing some type of asshole comment from him. Or, you know, just, he was very manipulative, and I still have a lot of resentment for the guy. That's a thing. Yeah, so he ran me over, because there was this whole situation. It escalated over the course of hours and hours of us drinking, and him getting in his car, driving away, me chasing after him, opening up his doors at some point, apparently, and trying to choke him. This is what he said. I don't remember. Part of me doesn't even believe him. And so I choked him, apparently, and then he put the car in reverse, and it hit me. The car door was open, hit me, made me fly back, hit the back of my head. I still have a giant scar from it. That's why I'm so messed up now. No. But yeah, and then the car actually ran over my abdomen. My bladder erupted. I have a giant scar on my stomach. Not cool. Not cool. So that set me back a lot, because then I couldn't work for a good couple weeks. I was in the hospital, and then whenever I got out of the hospital, I still had problems walking or getting around for a little bit. And then whenever I started working, I just couldn't work as many hours. So I was already behind at that point, before then, just from not budgeting right, spending too much money on alcohol, DUI. And then that happened, and I got even further behind. And then my roommate moved out, which I don't blame the guy, even though he was kind of an asshole too. Not as much of an asshole. At least he was, I don't know, he was a different kind of asshole. I kind of liked him more, but still an asshole. But I wasn't the best roommate. I was behind on rent. He kept paying rent. Don't blame him for moving out. Left me alone. I started getting further behind, not being able to work as many hours. And then eventually, a couple roommates would move in, but the people that I would get to move in usually wouldn't actually help with rent. So I had one guy move in, and then he didn't help with rent, and then he kind of just disappeared. And then a couple moved in, and one of the persons inside the couple I'm still pretty good friends with. The other guy, you know, I don't want to talk crap on him. He's got his own problems. I do care about him. Not the best person, though. Didn't help with rent. Got further behind. We started living in a hotel. Not a good atmosphere for my son. My parents offered for me to move in, so I took them up on that offer. So a lot of it is poor choices. I mean, I should have not started drinking. I should have been out of that atmosphere of the band. I should have just stayed solo and done street performing. I would have made more money. I should have stayed at my other day job, because I worked with the guy that ran me over, the guy who was in the band with me, the guy who had a drinking problem. We had the same day job. I should have stayed at my other day job or gotten another one, distanced myself from him, done my own thing, stayed solo, because I was successful. It was great. I love doing that. I love just being ZmanTheVegan, street performing, making like $20 an hour, and then I would have my day job for winter, and that would have worked out great, and then I would have never had a drinking problem. But I didn't, so here I am. I'm living with my parents for my son, because, you know, if I didn't have my son, I would have moved to California, and I would be happy being homeless. I don't even care. Just have my guitar, have my phone, my YouTube channel. I would be out there street performing every single day, talking about veganism. I would make enough money for food, either like California or Florida or somewhere warm. I'd be happy doing that. Whatever. I think I would eventually make enough money where I wouldn't be homeless, and I would have a car or a van, and I'd drive around, and then I would probably make enough money to get my own place. But I have a son. I care about him a lot, and I care about being a good father to him. So here I am at my parents' house. Probably going to be here for another couple years. If my parents don't drive me crazy, if I don't drive them crazy, because I don't like my parents. That's just the facts, okay? Don't like them. Plenty of reasons. That's a whole nother video. But, yep, I'm 30 years old, living with my parents. How about y'all? Well, wait, no, I'm 29, almost 30. But are y'all living with your parents? Do you have judgmental comments for me? Leave them down below. Thanks for watching. For the animals! Woo!